Welcome to Ascent. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted, and today I have a Divine Masculine Insights reading. This is meant to read like a personal. I know that there are some of you who are needing these kind of insights, so I'm going to go ahead and bless and shuffle, and we'll get started. And we're going to focus today on the divine beginnings of your separation period that might not have felt so divine, where you may have missed some very important information about what was really going on in your divine masculine's life. So if you're new to the journey, or even if it's been a really long time and you've been looking back at that time, even asking, why are we even in separation? Why not just introduce us or put us together when it's time? Why even have this season? This is going to be an especially important reading for you. So let's go ahead and get started. And we start with 3 and 8, that's 11. So, all right, we're in the right place here. 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. This feels like, yeah, we're talking about the beginning and everything we were going to have to walk away from. Meaning even before we knew we were going to go into separation, even before we met or before we had this connection, there was something every person involved knew that they wanted to move on from, knew that needed to change in their life. They knew that there was something they were searching for meaning for, okay? Wow, King of Pentacles. Looking for a successful time, looking for a time where they felt like life was golden. Where they could actually, I think, have a little bit of control here. And 7, wow. Lots of Pentacles, guys. And that 3 and 7 of Pentacles, that's 10. So this is really pointing us to a new beginning. And look, we don't have to stress so much. The seeds were well planted back then. Whatever was meant to happen, everything is playing out in due time. 9 of Swords. Wow. Lots of sleepless nights. Headed down the path of enlightenment, but this to me says dark night, dark night, dark night, really strong. A lot of people have a misconception that the dark night of the soul happens, at the very beginning of awakening, but that's not true. You awaken a lot before you enter the dark night. The dark night is actually closer to divine enlightenment than most people realize. Let's look at the spirit here. 1 + 9 is 10. There's definitely this feeling of divine completion coming through. But this Ace of Swords, 9 of Pentacles to me says being willing to do whatever it takes to find the joys of life again, no matter how challenging it is. I think that deep down, people knew. We knew that there was going to be a challenge. This wasn't just because the relationship we were experiencing was a challenge, but because a lot of stuff going on our life was challenging. Yeah, 5 of Pentacles. Kind of splitting the difference here. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. In the middle, feeling this despair, this knowing that we're entering a season of darkness, but also feeling like it's the right direction and not really knowing why. And 1 + 9 is 10. Okay, the Sun. Again, I'm getting this back to the beginnings, but almost like this is going to come around full circle, that once we get together, once everything starts up, we're going to experience that feeling again. We're so close to something. It's interesting that I'm having this feeling to go back. Almost like we can't miss it the next go round. Wow, the Chariot. What's back here? 7, 7 of Wands. This is the prepping for the new beginning energy. What's back here again? The World? Definitely. Okay, all right. All right, now let's look at the Divine Masculine in the physical. So we see this 10, we see this 3 of Cups. This is upright. I think they were overwhelmed by your very existence, if I'm going to be honest. I think that they knew you coming along meant it was time for something, but I don't think they knew what. And I think there was too much stress for them to really figure that out. And there we go again with this 10 and 5 splitting down the middle, halfway through. What was happening in the middle? What was happening halfway through? Lots of fear, lots of conflict. This to me is kind of giving the answer of this is the separation issue. It would have been 1,000 times worse if you were together or, you know, your lives were more merged. Hold on. Four of Cups, wow. 3, 4, 5, and 10. Four of Cups, needing to be able to experience. Think about the what we saw. We saw the Three of Cups, then we see the Four of Cups, which is the three cups all lined up, another cup coming out of the sky, and it's just like, no, nothing. Needing to go through that experience, needing to go and not be grateful and really just be unappreciative and think that you're right even. You know, they needed to think, yeah, this doesn't matter. This relationship isn't even important, whatever. So that they could go through and find that nothing matters then. If that's how you're going to look at it. That's not the right way to approach this life, Divine Masculine. And so there's something that happened that kind of kept them going through the motions, and the early stages really sucked for them. Really sucked. A lot of you, that King of Pentacles, you know he's a grump. A lot of you know your Divine Masculines are a little bit sour about life sometimes. And look at that. Three of Swords. Upright. With the Two of Wands. Coming into your own regardless of the pain you've experienced, eh? Okay, Divine Masculine. There's that 3 plus 2 is 5. 7 plus 7. 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. Again, I think that this was about activating something within them, showing them this really special feeling, this connection, and then ripping it away. And I will say this, it probably felt like that to the Divine Feminine too. So it's like, well, why did I have to learn that lesson alongside them? And I think that's an important question to ask yourself. Why would it be important for you to be affected by their energy, to learn that this connection is going to be very different than anything you've ever experienced? And what has happened on your separation journey? You know, for those of you who are just getting started, what is happening on your separation journey? Let's go ahead. I'm going to split this once. All right. And then we're going to go. Whoa. Okay. Let's split you once and then go. Okay. Whoa. You're gonna go. No, because this would be the bottom card. I gotta slide this in somewhere. Didn't even see it there. Okay. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Okay. And now the physical, let's. Weird. That's a weird split, guys. Okay. Give me all the cards. I don't know why I felt like the exact same. Okay. And I feel like this needs to go over there. I don't know why. Okay. All right, here we go. So, here are the 3 things that Divine needs you to understand about the beginning. Back when it first started, back when you first met, or when you first became aware of each other, or first became aware of the connection, or first became aware of twin flames. Whatever made you realize, if I'm not in reunion, then I'm in separation. This is what Divine is only revealing now. And maybe even why, we'll find that out, okay? So, first things first. Here, just get out of here for a second. Get out of here, you're bothering me. Okay, so we've got... All right, Divine deck. Overall, what do we need to know? Wow. 5 of Pentacles, repeating, different deck. Again, we know we're in the right place here. First thing you need to know is that this was about addressing Divine Masculine's fears about finances. This was about addressing their lack of action when they get scared, their inability to make choices and decisions that are positive for anyone except for themselves, because that might be the only way they really think about things. And the truth is, because they were so small-minded in that time, it wasn't even like long-term positives for themselves. It was just in the moment, like what's going to make me feel the most comfortable, what's going to make me feel the best, what's going to make me feel good right now. And that was not the best way for them to be making choices and decisions. And guess what? Because of it, they didn't trust themselves. Because of it, they really did not have the belief in self that was required in order to actually do what needs to be done on the other side of this season of enlightenment for them. So divine wants you to know, divine feminine, hey, I sent in this energy to really shake things up in this person's life because they were always going to half-ass everything. Not because they weren't willing to do the work. I mean, yeah, sure, in some cases. But it was mostly because they didn't really honor themselves. They didn't believe in their ability to do the work, so they just didn't. They just did what they thought they could. What are we missing about this? Why was this so important? Wow. Seven of Swords. Because their plans did not include making or being flexible along the path of awakening. Their plans did not engage, or like they were not focused enough on the idea of divine timing. They were not aware that there were things outside of their control. I know that might sound like almost crazy or delusional, like duh, you can't control everything. And yet that's kind of what their belief was, like, oh, once I get to a certain level, no one will be able to tell me what to do. And you can see in the background here, there's two unicorns sitting in the back, walking away from the situation. To me, this is their dream or their goal of one day I'll be happy, one day I'll have a relationship, one day I'll be able to commit to a partnership. But first, I've got to play the game. First, I've got to, be involved in things that I don't even really agree with or believe in. But this is just how it works, man. So you can kind of see this was the path they were on, into darkness, into sadness, into pain, into destruction, and kind of being a little bit sneaky. There was just a lot of really negative energy that the divine masculine, because they just thought, hey, this is the way it is, they gave into it. And divine was not going to let that happen, especially not to someone who essentially belongs to divine. Like, hey, you're mine. I'm not going to let you get taken advantage of by this world. I'm not going to let this world destroy your goodness and your heart. I'm going to bring someone into your life that is going to activate this first thought of maybe there is something good out there. Maybe there is another way. And that was you, divine feminine. So now we see what the move of divine was. Kind of helping the divine masculine choose a better path, even if they were unwilling to do it. They didn't really have much choice. How did this affect them inside? How did this affect them spiritually in the part of themselves that they really didn't honor, but still had a little bit of say-so in what goes on? Okay. Two of Pentacles. Ay. You can see all the pentacles that are coming up so far. And we can see that this is, even though this is all happening in the spirit so far, like we haven't even gotten to the physical world yet, it's obviously really important to these divine masculines. I think that is a sign of their deep, true divine masculinity, is the provision and protection. That is just who they are. Underneath it all, that's why they have the goals that they have. Even if it's to protect themselves, out of fear, trauma, and just being unwilling to help anyone else because no one's ever been willing to help them. It doesn't matter. There's still something in them that they're tapping into that they could barely understand. They just know they have to do it. So what's interesting is when we see how this is affecting them within, they're still looking towards the lower path. They're still focused on the negative. And that's because as this trouble comes into their life, as they're on one side still like getting this new idea of what to do, they're not going to ignore that completely. But it's not just a masculine thing to focus on the thing you've been putting your energy into. That's human nature. It's a futile, like, it's a little bit insane to continue doing it and thinking maybe something will change. But I think that they are starting to understand, even if it's slowly but surely. But that doesn't mean that they're just going to suddenly be ready and make the changes and be done with the old plan. The lower path still seems like a more valuable path to them. And what we see is this kind of back and forth. I think this is going to kind of point to the sleepless nights that they were kind of pointing out to us before. This is the beginning of that for them. You can't unsee it, can you? And your divine masculine can't really unsee this new way, but also the old way that just is so ingrained in them. But what are we missing about this? How is this actually a good thing? Where they still chose to stay on the lower path, but they had this kind of backup plan. Just in case. The fact that they were even open to it. What do we need to know about this? Oh my gosh. Okay. So we had 7 and 7, now we're having 2 and 2. So we've got 2 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. The other plan, the higher plan, is connecting with the divine feminine. They're fully aware that there's something about connecting with you and pursuing that dynamics, pursuing that energy that is the right path, that is a good path, that is a worthwhile path to follow. They're just not sure how you're going to feel about it, because in their mind, they still have their thing they want to pursue. In their mind, they're still, trying to kind of figure things out with the goal that they had in mind. And it's like, how do I get this person who doesn't even get my goals, who doesn't even really see what I want as, valuable or worthwhile, to want to commit to a relationship with me, knowing I'm not giving that up? And I think this might have to do with your side of things, divine feminine, where they weren't the only one who has to deal with separation, so do you. And maybe for you, it's kind of stepping your goals up, or opening yourself up to having the pursuit of numerous goals at once. Because some divine feminines are like anti-money, anti-success, because they see that as just capitalism. And then there's some divine feminines who are like, anti-other. Like I am the only person who's going to support my goals and dreams, and so I'm going to dig deeper into that. And there's very few in the middle. I work with thousands and thousands of people, and it's usually either one or the other. But it's really over time that the mature divine feminine kind of comes to balance in the middle and says, I need some sort of abundance to be able to help people. I need to be able to see people where they are in order to be able to help them, right? So they do start to kind of find the middle ground, but I think that this might be pointing to that is, how did you really feel about what they wanted? Because there are a lot of divine feminines who know early on in the journey, they would say something along the lines of, I don't care about what they want to do. Like, I just want to be with them. All that stuff doesn't matter. That might matter to them, but they're the ones who are putting all these stipulations around it. I just want to be happy together. And for the divine masculine, that was really an affront to them. Like, oh my gosh, but these things are still important to me. So this is really interesting to start us off, that the first thing that had to happen is they needed to see that there was another way. And for the divine feminine collective, a part of that separation period, it wasn't really just about being able to accept their goals. It was about being able to look at the things that you were doing in your life to pursue your goals or your ideal life that may not have even been up to your true divine standard. You might have been missing some things in there, and that's what your separation journey has provided to you. That's what your awakening has given you. So this is like really deep. Okay. I see still we're in the middle of dealing and working out the kinks. How did this show up in their life, though? Because this is where the separation occurs, in the physical. Wow. It is a match. It is a match, guys. And I want to remind you, this is now the third time we've seen the Five of Pentacles, all 3 decks. Do you understand? All 3 decks have shown up Five of Pentacles. All 3 decks are pointing us to the 2 partners, because remember, the Five of Pentacles has both partners walking towards the dark night of the soul. I think that this is the very clearest message I can get, if this is not just about divine masculine, is that both counterparts needed to go through, even if it wasn't like an official dark night, because some of us, our separation journey had moments that could feel like it, but wasn't completely like a dark night of the soul. Some of our divine masculines, they had a period where it was a dark night, but like it wasn't the entire time. So this wasn't necessarily saying like, oh, separation is the dark night of the soul, which I think a lot of people do say. I don't think that's accurate from the work that I've done, the studies that I've done. That's not true to me. But what I can say is, if you think about what a dark night of the soul is all about, and you think about what needs to happen in that time, and people talk about shadow work and all this stuff, this is kind of the main issue or the main purpose behind separation, is getting us to deal with, in whatever way divine deems necessary, the things that we might have already thought we were done with, the things we didn't even know needed to be dealt with, the things we didn't even know we didn't know, you know? And so I think this is really special because it's pointing out that the divine masculine needed an opportunity to recognize where even their ambitions and goals were really holding their divine feminine back, but also themselves, also all their ideas, everything they wanted to do, a lot of the stuff that, because they hadn't dealt with the stuff in the middle, and again, working out the kinks, tweaking the plan, because they refused to do that and kind of had this tunnel vision and this one track mind about what they were doing, it was really leaving a lot of room for darkness to creep in and mess things up. But if they dealt with the darkness head on and they recognized where they were kind of creating this negative energy, creating this dark energy, whatever it is, then they were finally able to fight it. Then they were finally able to do something about it. So this season of them kind of being stuck in the middle, feeling like they would never be enough, but also being determined to get to this end goal because it was all they knew, this season was meant to happen for them because it provided the exact path needed for them to actually acknowledge who they really were and start to awaken to the truth of their divinity. What are we missing about this, though? What do we not understand about this season of their life? Eight of Wands. And this is upright. That this season actually indicated that delays are over. And again, this is what I try to explain to people about the, the path to divinity, from like not being divine all the way to being divine, is a lot of people think the dark night happens over here somewhere, but it's not true. The dark night happens very close. It's like the darkest night before the dawn. Do you understand? Then the sun rises and we see that divine awakening. And I think that we needed to understand that this was about getting them over the hump, over the hill, over that mountain to the other side of things. And it required this shaking. And one of the most stressful things in the world is to meet the person you know you're meant to be with for the rest of your life and then have that person not be in your life. That is, I believe that we don't really get to take a lot with us, if anything, other than what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And maybe our memories, or maybe those experiences, maybe it really just depends on what the true meaning of life is and what's on the other side, right? So being able to share a moment, a lifetime, whatever, with someone that just gets us and that we just feel beyond complete with, that's what life is really about. Life is about love. Love of your partner, your children, I don't even have kids, and I don't want to, so it's not like you have to have that. But you see my point, though. Those people who feel like your kids, the people who feel like your parents, your friends, whatever it is, there's just something about that shared moment of humanity with somebody. And this was about bringing it together and then ripping it apart. Because it is in that tearing that we can finally see what's really inside. Whew. Oh my goodness gracious. So divine masculine was really being shown their true path. The first thing we needed to know is that this meeting, we were closer to reunion than we thought. A lot of people thought that the beginning of separation, and this is good if you're new to the twin flame stuff and you're like, whoa, okay, see, I thought I had, according to all these people I'm, reading comments or reading in the chat, I thought I might have years and years and years and years. Not everybody's journey is the same. There are people who've had journeys that are very, very long. And I've got a lot of varying opinions, professional opinions on what that could be. But if you are new to this and you thought it was going to have to be forever, no. The beginning of that separation period is usually happening after a long season of awakening, and it's just another level to it. This is about ascension, and I think it's really magical that we see this Five of Pentacles coming up so much, because five is change. The Five of Pentacles is the darkness before the dawn. They're together. They're both trudging forward through the coldest, darkest night. And there's something on the other side that they both get to share in that is worth pushing through, even if you've got frostbite and you don't even know what could possibly become of us in the new season when so much damage has been done. And it's like, you know what? It's worth it. I'll find out. So this is special. All right, let's go here to the next one. What's the next thing Divine wanted you to know, looking back to the beginning of, your journey and beginning of separation? What is another lesson or situation that we might have missed? All these pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. And we also saw the Seven of Pentacles today and the King of Pentacles today, which makes me think that the kingdom that we will eventually share together was already in the works long before. And as the type of believer that I am, I believe that. That's how that works. So, okay. Honor your commitments. That Two of Cups stands out to me that we just saw. Time to buckle down and get things done. Yeah. I think that this is saying the separation period gave us both a chance, Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, to get some of the things done, whether it was in the physical world or whether it was in the spirit, and we needed to learn or grow or change or heal or whatever. It gave us the time to dedicate to ourself and our journey, not our journey, but our purpose, our intentional, purposeful life. Now, the hard part about this is if you aren't feeling very strong right now, if you aren't feeling very purposeful and intentional, and you don't know what's going on with your Divine Masculine, or worse, you really don't know, but you can kind of see, and it looks like they're just gallivanting and debauchery and all that. It can be very hard to believe that there's any work being done. But again, that may be a limited belief about divine and how divine works. It is often in the midst of our darkest moments that we have these aha moments. But guess what? You know how long it takes to sit outside in the darkness before your eyes adjust and you can really see the stars? Do you know how long it takes for someone to get into, the deepest, darkest part of a cave where they can actually find the riches and the glory or whatever it is they're supposed to find? So don't assume that just because you can't see why you're in the dark right now, that there is no reason for it. That's a very easy way to miss the important stuff. So what is it we need to know? What was divine doing that we can't even begin to fathom? Wow. King of Wands. This was creating focus, excitement, ambition, motivation. We were planting the seed, and it would be the tree that grew while we went off and did our thing that we would eventually come back to get our magic wand. So how did this affect Divine Masculine in the spirit? All these fives, y'all. So, and again, we just had 1-1, right? 2 court cards here. So lots of repeating numbers. 5 of Swords comes up and it says, this made the Divine Masculine, I think we saw the 3 of Swords earlier. I think this made the Divine Masculine really focus on their belief that they're right about life. But let me tell you something. The more you lean into a false belief, the more divine can do to shake it and confuse you. If you're not really sure, if you don't really care, you're not going to be paying attention. But if you're all fired up and mad as hell, and you're trying to go one direction, you're going to notice every little thing telling you to go the other way. So Divine Masculine, before we saw them on the edge here of this, you see, the same space. This is the middle of separation. This is talking about how the beginning of separation created the energy and how the Divine Masculine responded. And inside, they really tried to dig deeper into their beliefs that This is just the limbo phase. This is just in the middle. I'm just waiting. I know things are going to work out. I'll just dig in deeper to these plans that I have. And guess what, guys? The 7 of Swords, the 5 of Swords are both twin flame and training cards. The last one that we're missing is the 5 of Cups. Those 3 cards, when we see them come up in a reading, shows that the divine masculine and really the divine feminine, depending on who we're talking about, is doing the work, whether they know it or not. They're being brought through the ringer. They're being pushed and things are falling apart and crumbling and coming together in ways that they could never even understand. So they think that they're doing something here. They think that they're defending the right plan. But the more it falls apart, the more they can't stop thinking, well, maybe, maybe, and you can see, just like in the 7 of Swords, you see the 2 swords here they're holding on to. This is, again, this idea that I always have the backup plan. So now we're seeing that separation also provided the divine masculine with what they thought was a backup plan. Now, let me say this. If someone has a tunnel vision, one-track mind about something that they're supposed to be doing, they do not have a plan B. And yet, divine feminine would look at that and hear me say, you're their plan B, and get pissed. Not everybody, but many will be like, why would I want to be their second guess, their second best? Why would I want to be plan B? Honey, they didn't ever have a plan B. They were never going to give up on plan A. It wasn't even plan A. It was just the plan. So this person thinks they're getting over on themselves, or well, maybe nothing but divine, over on divine feminine, when really divine planted the seed and has them willing to make these changes, whether they even know it or not. So this is very interesting. What are we missing, though? Because this is how they're coming out. This is what they're thinking is happening. They're waiting for their ship to come in. They're waiting for the plan to play out. They believe with all their heart that it's going to work. And now they're even thinking, and you know what, if it doesn't, I guess I could try this whole reunion thing. What are we missing, though? Oh my gosh. 1 + 4 is 5. It's 14. It's temperance. That all the while on the other side of the river, you can actually, the mountains back there. So over here in the background is divine, making all the changes, going through the situation, working everything out, keeping the love flowing between you. This explains so much about why divine feminines struggle to get their divine masculines off their mind during separation. Divine is encouraging this candle, stay lit. Encouraging the connection between you, can maintain the flow. And as much as you try to run away from it, divine is going to lead you where you need to be to make this right, to make this healthy. And as long as you're willing to go in for the flow and follow the divine plan, it'll all work out. If you're not, you may have to wait until the sun rises to really understand and look back and go, oh, wow, I get it now. But nonetheless, the divine masculine cannot avoid what divine is doing. So what we don't understand is that it was never about their plan anyways. Divine always knew, hey, I'm going to bring in a plan B soon. Divine always knew, yeah, they're going to be super stubborn, but I've got a plan for that. It's like, we don't know that. We lack that trust in divine sometimes. Like, okay, do you have it handled? Are you sure you don't need my help? But divine knew all along. This was how it had to play out. This is the best way to get this person to lay down their swords, to heal, to stop pretending that there's no problem with the plan that they have, to stop ignoring all the things in their life that are clearly telling them this is not the right way, to stop hurting people in the name of achieving what they want to achieve. Divine had all of this worked out. And I think that it's important to look at this because we had 1-1 and then we had 5-5, like that ego or that devil energy. And it's like, it's really easy to look at it and think, oh no, their ego or the devil has them trapped. But remember, a lot of people miss the story of Job. Go read if you believe that kind of stuff, or if you're open to reading, spiritual texts to see what you can see and what you can find. It's very clear that God tells the devil, go bother Job. A lot of people miss that. A lot of people think that he just got attacked out of nowhere and that's where the story begins, but that is not true. So even if all you can see is the devil and the darkness and the evil in it, again, I don't know how to explain this from a non-Christian standpoint, but this is what I believe, so translate it as you need to. If you believe that God made the light and the darkness, then why are you so worried that it's dark right now? So again, I think it's very important for us to say, in the beginning of my separation period, of our separation period, there was still something that was actually coming to be, coming, a seed being sprouting and germinating, whatever, and coming to bear fruit. Where am I not noticing that fruit because I'm not, with my person yet, and that's the only fruit that I want to eat? Where am I missing how certain things needed to play out? Where might I not be trusting divine right now that in the midst of everything, because that's where you fix it. You got to open up the engine and get in there and mess with the wires, and you don't just, look at it and slap it and then it's ready. You got to actually get in there. That's what surgery is. Like, all these things are uncomfortable and it's deep inside, but if you trust the surgeon, if you trust the mechanic, if you trust the divine creator or whatever you believe in, you have to understand that you're going to have to step away. You're not even allowed in the operating room. And that's a lot like what separation has been. What is it that we need to know about the physical world, though? How this feeling of honor your commitments, let go of the old plan, or at least let yourself think you're on the right track. Let yourself plant the seed of the idea that maybe plan B isn't so bad after years of denying. It's like, clearly divine is all up and through here. What are we missing? 6 of Pentacles. We had 5 of Pentacles. Now we have 6 of Pentacles. Divine is teaching divine masculine that their way of showing love is worthwhile, beautiful, and special. And now it explains the 1 and 1 and the 5 and 5, because we saw what as like the devil or ego, 15. But 1 plus 5 is 6. Just like we look at the story of Job and we think it's this story about, like, I don't know, a guy should curse God, or that God gives and God takes away, but it was so much bigger than that. It was about teaching Job the proper way to love God, and that he shouldn't just do it for himself, that he needed to teach his children and his children's children to do it. Like, it was so much bigger than what a lot of people think that story is all about. This separation period, this part of the season, the inner workings of the divine masculine were being fixed and renewed to show them, hey, your idea of divine love is what? 6 of Cups. You think that only, divine feminines can show that kind of divine love, but divine masculine, I tell you, you have a very special kind of love to offer. And it is in perfect balance to your divine feminine's way of showing love. But you have to believe that you have it in you. What were they missing? Why was it so challenging for them to believe that they were true divine lovers? 4 of Swords. They had yet to take the time. And again, I'm getting this 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords energy like we saw earlier. They had yet to take the time to really work through who they were. If you think about the 5 of Pentacles, they're outside of a church. If you think about the 4 of Swords, he's inside the church now. Again, this season of your divine masculine's life was about the inner workings of this situation, of who they really are, of getting to the bottom of things that when they had this one-track mind and this tunnel vision about where they were supposed to be, they never got to see. So what you were missing during the season of separation is that your love was never going to be enough. And not in the sense of your love isn't enough in general, but that your divine masculine had their own lovely, unique way of expressing, of helping, of being present for other people that they didn't even know was in there. They always thought that it was Pentacles, but they thought it was something else. But no, it was very specific, the 6 of Pentacles energy. That's what they needed to learn about. And the only way to get them there was to slow them down, make them go through war and battle after battle, and keep like just skating by as they watch everything around them crumble. Whew. Oh my goodness. Last set of cards here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is so deep. Okay. And you. So last thing you need to know. What was happening at the beginning back then that you really did not understand and would not understand until now. And if you're watching this and you're new and you're like, but wait, how am I seeing this reading right now? Because you are a part of the wave of individuals that is experiencing this in this moment. You might have just hopped on the wave at the last second, but you need this information now. It applies. What do you need to know? And we're back. King of Pentacles. So just so you know, we've had every single card that's shown up as the reason why Divine is doing this for the Divine Masculine is King of is Pentacles cards. All the cards so far, I don't know if it'll be in the physical deck, but all the cards so far in the physical as well, Pentacles. This to me says, Divine Feminine, have you taken the time to look at your material world, financial world, career ideas? A lot of you know I'm really big into light work and divine purpose. Have you really taken the time not just to, figure out what you're here to do, but also like figure out where the gap is? It's so crazy because it's like we're working on all the pentacles in the group next week, and I'm just thinking like, whoa, what is going on right now? Something is happening, and I don't know enough about. If anybody's watching this today and you know that there is some sort of astrological event going on that has something to do with like real world, practical, or pentacles based stuff, money, finances, whatever, please let me know. Because I don't know why I feel like this is bigger than just this reading. And we're getting it right now because there's something going on in the world around. Like I know there's been some like banks that are collapsing, and I know that I'm just waiting for that crash to happen that I saw a couple of years ago. I knew we were going to have a stock market crash. I'm just waiting for it to happen at this point. I'm just thinking, okay, is it that? Like, are we talking about the world stuff? And it's like, no, because a lot of our divine masculines don't even know about that stuff. Like there's a few, but no, most of them don't. So I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, Grace. The last thing you need to know is that the successful time that you were expecting to happen back then is happening now. And you might be like, Grace, you just said that the stock market is going to crash. Look, man, the truth is, for the most part, you know who that affects? People who don't have their finances in order. You don't have to be rich, but if your finances are not in order, whether you got a lot of money or a little bit of it, sure, then you're going to be affected because you're going to end up getting stressed. But a lot of us have families, especially if you grew up poor, whether you're poor now or not, like, if you grew up not having a lot, you know how to handle moments of recessions and stuff like that. A successful time does not have to mean that you are suddenly a billionaire. It simply means that your kingdom is doing well in comparison to others. That you are experiencing growth and abundance in your own way in comparison to what other people might be experiencing. And I'm telling you, this is meant to be a time where, if you think about it, when we have a moment in society where the financial system kind of goes down, a lot of people can jump on that and ride the wave back up because it's an up and down over decades. So however you want to perceive this, something is going on, and we're looking back at where our separation began. You may, if you're into that kind of stuff, look back. Around what time did your separation begin? Now, look into what was going on in the world at that time, or look at where you were financially, or look at, what you might have been learning about, or a goal or an idea you might have had, because it's pretty clear here that whatever's up with the divine masculine in the beginning, that when you came into their life, suddenly the plan B came, you know what I'm saying? And everything started to shift and happen. Now we finally get to fulfill that. Now we get to step into it. The separation period was all about preparing for it. So what's going on? What are we missing here? Oh, events behind the scenes. Releasing fears, 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles. Releasing fears that hold you back, important psychic insights. This is all about separation. You put this together, that's 19. That's that sun card we saw. Brilliant new ideas that lead to divine inspiration. What do we need to know is happening within, oh my gosh, the divine masculine. So once they reach this point, in the beginning of separation, until they believed and accepted that the 6 of Cups was available to them and something that they could learn from, something that was valuable until they saw. It's like this. What did I just say? If you have ever grown up poor, or you knew like, oh yeah, my great grandmother, she did really well during the Great Depression, and kept her whole family of 12 kids alive because she was very wise and frugal, and she knew what to do, and she grew her own crops. And so you have in the back of your mind this understanding that money's not the only thing that's valuable, especially in times of economic crisis. And now we're seeing someone planting seeds, a person who knows how to feed themselves. They can survive anything. So this is interesting because we talked about planting seeds from the very beginning. We talked about the Six of Cups even here, and them not seeing, that they had it in them. They had the ability to do that on their own side. So maybe they don't know how to plant crops, but they know how to barter. They know how to help a lot of people, and that comes back because you create the economy of giving. There was something that they needed to learn throughout the separation period so that they could use it in the future. And until they understood that divine love was one of the most valuable things on this planet, they weren't going to be ready. What was this about in their life? Wow. Five of Wands. This was an immaturity issue, you guys. This was an immature way of thinking about the world, of thinking about love, about thinking about life. And they had to be willing to get out of the old game that doesn't make room for love. The old game that, guess what? The reason I said there are people who, if they don't have their finances together, I'm talking about even rich people who are going to be screwed right now. Why? Because they put too much stock in believing that the game isn't rigged, in believing that if they just do this or do that, everything will be fine. And that is not how it works. You've got to know when to hold, when to fold. You've got to have that discernment. And discernment isn't really allowed in the game because you have to follow the rules. Your discernment isn't a part of the rules. So the divine masculine had to learn very early on that there were points where they needed to pick their battles, pull out of the immature stuff. You see all this 11 energy we're getting? We have it right here. We had it right there just now. There's something here that says the divine masculines needed to start to see the path out, the path of enlightenment, and that there's an opportunity to kind of create a portal into blessings, a portal into love, a portal into hope, simply by shifting things around in their life. So how did that show up? How do we know that they are actually doing this work, and that when the time for whatever this King of Pentacles is meant to represent, this flourishing kingdom, what are we supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to know and see in our person that they've actually dealt with? Wow. Now we see 5, 6, 7 of Swords. This is a repeating card. And I even told you when we saw the 5 of Swords that the 2 swords in the background, the 2 swords in this guy's hand, these represent what? The twin flame in training. Now it's showing up. And the 2 swords in the back represent the divine feminine, divine masculine partnership that they've put on the back burner. Once they start to shift their focus from doing everything they can to sneak around and maybe get the cheat codes and win the game, to instead looking through the game and seeing what they can learn so they can take the codes back and apply it to their own kingdom, then we'll know they're ready. And again, we're getting this like 1 + 6 is 7. Things are really adding up in each of these sections. What are we missing though? What else is this about? Wow. Didn't we have that like back here? Where did we have, yeah, there it was, 5 and 7 from the very beginning, and now it's 5 and 7 again. Do you notice that all of these numbers are pretty much in the midst? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lots of stuff going on in the middle. To see these 2 training cards together, this is reversed though. This is a repeating 5 of Swords. So again, the signs and syncs in this reading are outrageous. Lots of repeatings, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And everything is connected. Even though we see the 7 of Swords, when I saw the 5 of Swords, all I could think is, interesting. He took the 5 swords in his hand from where he was in the 7 of Swords energy to go down to the edge and try to see what he could make of it, see if he could win something. That might even be how he won the Pentacles and won these nice clothes he's wearing for his journey. All of this is connected. And once the divine masculine is willing to stop playing the game or to use it to his own advantage instead of doing it so he can further himself in the game, it's like someone going in and doing like shorts in the stocks where they buy a stock and then it goes up a little bit and they sell it and they make some money and they buy another one and then they sell it when it goes up and it makes some money, rather than playing the long game, which again, I'm not recommending any kind of financial advice here. I'm picturing that. It's like, I'm not really here for a long time. I'm here to get what I can get out of this and move on. And that has been the issue, is they were putting everything they had and investing every dime, every ounce of energy, every resource they had into the world. And now they realize it's not about investing in a world that is only going to take from me. It's about investing in people who can invest in other people, where we can create this big, bountiful, abundant community. This is all starting to click for them, and they're no longer engaging. This is, Ten of Pentacles underneath. This is one of my least favorite cards. This 5 of Swords, out of all the cards, I hate to see it. Because there's something about it that just gives me a really icky feeling about whoever it represents. So to see them put down that energy, deal with the stalemates and all the things they're denying and all the problems they're pretending aren't there, dealing with the heartache and the pain that led them to pursue that path in the first place, dealing with what stands, focusing on what matters, having both twin flame and training cards out of the, 2 out of the 3 in one place and repeating through the reading. There's something about this that just tells me you will know when you don't get a bad taste in your mouth with everything you hear about them. You will know that they're actually changing when you can clearly see the truth about what they're doing, not just because they're telling you the truth, but sometimes you couldn't see the truth because, again, you had your own limited thinking about their goals and their ideas and their plans. So this is, again, I have a feeling a lot of you, raise your hand, put a little hand up in the comments if this was like, yep, this was a personal for me. This explains so much about what happened for us back in the day and how all that went down back in the day. Or even some of you might be like, look, I'm new and I'm raising my hand because the truth is all these things are clicking for me and it makes so much sense. And I've been noticing that I might probably have a shorter separation than other people, but I didn't know if that was allowed, if that was possible. But now I'm starting to see it. I had my own long awakening that I've already gone through, and I'm starting to realize they had their own long awakening. That's where we met. We met towards, the going into the dark night. Whatever it is, I just want you to know that divine has been working through all this, working through the kinks this whole time. And on the other side of this is beautiful solutions that come from someone coming off that hanged man tree and finally seeing the truth of who they are and what they're here to do. And that is what this separation season was all about. Getting through the middle that they kept trying to avoid. Getting past this shortcut vibe that's like, that's not how life works. You're gonna have to go through this. I hope this helps. I've got a sale going on right now. 44% off on phone calls, on tarot phone calls. So you can do a call with or without cards. And like actual personal readings, pretty much it uses these same decks, but it's different than this. Just a personal reading about yourself or a personal reading about your divine masculine. And the Reunion Journey Toolkit is also 44% off. And that's 3 assessments, 3 readings, everything you need. And you don't have to watch tarot every time you have a question. You can actually go to that. That kind of is the point of it. So if you're interested, there's all kinds of stuff available. Just add it to your cart to make sure it qualifies. You'll see the price in the cart and the discount in the cart. And if you need me, my email is thefierygrace@gmail.com. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you have enjoyed this message. I hope that this really hit like a personal reading. And My name's Fiery Grace the Gifted. I'm the Divine Feminine here. My Divine Masculine, Mr. Lightwork, also posts on this channel a few days a week. We're probably going to scale back the daily posting just because there's a lot going on right now in the collective, and I want to make sure that I'm not confusing people. And so I think that trying to post for different situations every day might confuse the people who are like, I want to watch all your readings, but I don't know what's for me or not. I'm going to try to scale that back a little bit and see if that helps. If you need anything, please let me know. If you have any specific readings you'd like to see, just leave it in the comments below and let me know if this resonated for you, okay? I love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Peace.